Hello everyone and welcome to the UkeStuff channel. Today we are going to do a tutorial video for the play-along videos of Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. Now before we begin, let me just remind you that these are play-alongs. They're not meant to exactly replicate what you hear. You really can't do that solely on the ukulele. So we keep that in mind, as these are play-alongs and that's the purpose, is to play along and have fun with them. If you are an individual, you just may love playing along with the song. And if you're a teacher, I guarantee you that your students will enjoy playing along with songs that they know. Also, this is the ultra clean version of the song, so it should be safe to use in all settings. If you are a person that needs the other content, well, at least you'll know the chords to use. Another thing that I want to communicate is that the song actually is going to be provided to you, or is provided to you already, in two different keys, both for GCEA, which would be soprano, concert, or tenor ukuleles most of the time, and then DGBE for baritone ukulele. One of the comments I frequently get is, hey, you just did it with all the wrong chords. What's wrong with you? And ultimately, I always have to tell a person, are you playing the baritone version? Which they always are. And then I never hear back from them again. So I'm not giving you the wrong chords. Make sure you're playing the right version of the song. And I try to put baritone across the middle so that it's really clear, but some people still miss it. I also put in the title and the description. Speaking about the title and the description, if you look below, there should be when you scroll through, when you scrub through this bottom bar, there should be chapters that can take you to different parts of this tutorial to help you out to get you to where you need to go. And then also those will appear in the description below, those same timestamps. And there's a bunch of other stuff there too if you want to take a look at it. All right, the final thing I want to say is that the actual version that I use in this song, in the one that I call the lyric-based version, which I don't do tutorial for, the whole idea behind the lyric-based is that any non-transposing instrument could play along. I get notes from people that play along a guitar and piano, and they love to have that option. Well, that same lyric-based option is available as a chord sheet, or what a lot of people call tabs. They're not really tabs, but that's what people call them. And you can access those at ukestuff.com. UkeStuff is a collaborator with this site, and we work together to provide that content for you, the same version that you see in this video. That has been a long-lasting request, and we're glad to be able to give it to you. So the way that these tutorials are laid out, first of all, we'll look at the chords you need for GCEA ukulele in both keys. Then we'll look at the chords you need for baritone DGBE ukulele, and then we'll talk strumming for the song. For GCEA ukulele, I will be using this ukulele. It is the Ranch Concert ukulele. They sell soprano, I believe, and tenor versions, and I'm in the process of reviewing this for the UkeStuff channel. It has been consistently an Amazon choice product and an Amazon bestseller for a long time. So it's fun to be able to review one of these. You'll hear it a little bit today, but check out the full review of this one later on the channel. Let's take it in the original key first, which would be ultimately in the key of really G minor. So for GCEA ukulele, the G minor chord, the first finger goes on the first string, first fret, second finger on the third string, second fret, and then the third finger on the second string, third fret. That's your G minor chord. Then you'll need the C minor chord. It's a bar chord, but it's the bar chord that doesn't seem to scare people. You're going to cover strings 1, 2, and 3. Remember, it's from the floor up on fret 3. That's the C minor chord. You leave the fourth string open. Now, some tips. Again, make sure your finger is near the metal bar. Make sure that the groove of your finger isn't lined up with one of the strings so it isn't hard to press. And then make sure that your thumb is just supporting it, just a little bit. Don't think about pressing too hard, just press hard enough to get that clear sound. And the final chord you'll need in this particular key is the D7 chord, and we'll use the Hawaiian D7 chord, which doesn't actually have a D in it, but the first finger and second finger only on the fourth and second strings. This is a pretty common chord, the D7, or specifically the Hawaiian D7. And those are the three chords that you use for GCEA ukulele in the key of G minor. Now let's go to the chords you need for GCEA ukulele in the key of A minor. So the A minor chord, pretty standard, is going to be one finger, the second finger generally, 4th string, 2nd fret. That's your A minor chord. The D minor chord is a lot like the F chord. If you know your F chord, you put the 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and then you add the 3rd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. That's your D minor chord. And then your E7 chord. This is actually one of my favorite chords. I rotate my hand a little bit this way, not the arm, so I don't bend the arm, but I rotate my wrist, and I put my 1st finger, coming at the headstock like this, on the 4th string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the 1st string 2nd fret, and that's your E7 chord. And those are the chords you need for GCEA ukulele in the key of A minor. All right, let's take a look at the chords you need for baritone DGBE ukulele. I'll be using my mainland baritone. It's my one and only baritone. It has a cedar top and rosewood back and sides with living waters fluorocarbon strings. A lot of baritones have metal strings. Somebody was recently asked about that and said, hey, how come you don't have any metal strings? I don't like the squeak of metal strings, and these strings don't give you any squeak. There's no wound strings to deal with. So Living Waters, they're made by Ken Middleton in England. You order them, he sends them over. Not a problem. Great strings. They're available for all instruments in terms of ukuleles, but I really love them for baritone. So the first set of chords we're going to look at is in the original key of the song, which is G minor. So the 1st finger is going to cover strings 1, 2, and 3. Remember, strings go up from the floor. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3 at the 3rd fret, leaving the 4th string open. But you play the whole thing, and you get the G minor chord. The second chord can be a little bit of a stretch for some people. It's the C minor chord. You put the 1st finger on the 4th string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and your pinky on the 1st string 3rd fret. That is the C minor chord. And the last chord you're going to need is the D7 chord, which is a pretty standard chord on baritone ukulele. And those are the chords you need in the key of G minor for bad guy on baritone DGBE ukulele. Now let's look at the chords you need for baritone DGBE ukulele in the key of A minor on bad guy. The first chord is the A minor chord. It is just like the C chord, except you add the 3rd finger to the 3rd string 2nd fret. So you've got your A minor chord. Then you're going to play the D minor chord. 1st finger goes on the 1st string 1st fret, 2nd finger goes on the 3rd string 2nd fret, 3rd finger goes on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and that's your D minor chord. And then your final chord is the E7 chord. So 1 finger chord, 1st finger, 3rd string, 1st fret. And those are the 3 chords you need for baritone DGBE ukulele on bad guy. All right, let's talk about strumming on bad guy. Now, the first thing I want you to know, again, is that we are playing along. We are not recreating exactly what Billie did in the song. There is no right answer. If you listen to the song very closely, you will not hear any ukulele. That's been my favorite comment of all time. It's happened like twice, where people will write very angrily and say, there's no ukulele on that recording. That's the point. It's a play along. You're playing along with it. You're not playing along with an ukulele version. Now, there are plenty of people out there who make a cover and then make it available as a play along. I've done that with a few songs myself, but that's not the purpose of this type of ukulele play along. It's playing along with the real song. Now, the other thing that I really want to stress to you is that there is no right answer. The 2 things that are really most important is that you keep the steady beat along with what you do, and number 2, that you like what you do. Everything else is up in the air because, quite honestly, you're not doing this for an audience. Some groups use these play-alongs for an entire group, but it really, again, it's really what you want to do. Now, again, teachers sometimes will tell you a specific pattern to play, and that's great. And I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions of what you can play, but just keep in mind that there is no right answer as long as you're steady on the beat. And I'm also going to give you an easier and a harder strumming pattern to follow here. So let's take a look. I'm going to use, for now, the chords in A minor, just because they're a little bit easier for some people to navigate than the other chords. And I'll be playing the chords on concert ukulele, GCEA, not baritone. So if you're a baritone player, make sure you're looking at the baritone chords as they appear on the screen. Let's take the easier pattern first. And what you're going to see is really, it's a set of 5 chords, really. So you've got A minor, D minor, E7, and then kind of a half of that pattern disappears with a break most of the time in the song. There are some exceptions. There are a few times where there's just simple down strums. Actually, the whole end of the song ends with single down strums if you're playing along. So the rest of it kind of follows that pattern, and that's really a pattern that you can follow all the way through. So the easiest pattern is going to be this. I'm going to just use A minor chord, and it's going to be down, 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 up, down, up. All right, try that. Down, 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 up, down, up. Got that? Try it one more time. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So let's try that with the real sort of format of the song. The A minor repeats twice in that pattern, the D minor once, and then the E7 one half and then rests. Okay, so let's do it. It goes like this. 1, 2, ready, go. A minor, A minor, D minor, E7, stop. See that? Okay, so again, A minor, so 2 measures of A minor, 2 measures of A minor, 2 measures of D minor, 1 measure of E7. Let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Second A minor. E7. Stop. And you can even silence your strings if you want to. And that's the easiest pattern. Down, 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 up, down, up. You're only missing 2 ups there. And remember, with strumming, a couple things, just a couple hints. Make sure that you're strumming generally here, where the body meets the neck of the instrument. You don't want to strum directly over the sound hole. Bunch of reasons for that, but really you're at near the sweet spot of the strings, which is about halfway between the nut and the saddle. And then the other thing to remember is that all your patterns are down, up, and the action is mostly, again, in the wrist. Your arm doesn't do very much of the work at all, and if you leave it in your wrist, you can find out that you can later strum as fast or as slow as you need to go with great control because it's in your wrist. And generally, it's the first finger. Some people will use their thumb, but it changes how it feels when it's with your thumb. For the difference, you can also play with more than 1 finger. Sometimes I play with all 4 or 3. That's a much stronger sound than just 1 finger, but just, you know, generally, traditionally, it's the first finger that goes right there. Can you play the pick? Absolutely. My suggestion is make sure it's a leather or a felt pick rather than a plastic one. So that's pattern number 1, is just simply down, 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 up, down, up. Now notice my hand doesn't stop moving up and down. If you ever really have trouble with strumming and just seeing what you're doing, what I would suggest that you do is you set up your phone and make a video just of your hand. You don't have to put your face in it or anything else, and watch what your hand is doing. That can be really eye-opening to see how your hand is doing with that. Now, let's take a look at the more extensive pattern. It's actually a full 2-measure pattern. And here's what we're going to do. The first part of it, the first measure, again, we'll stay in A minor, is going to be down, 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 up, down, up. Does that sound familiar? It should, because it's what we just did. Down, 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 up, down, up. That's going to stay the same. So let's try that first measure again. Down, 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 up, down, up. Now, the second measure becomes hard because it's going to be up, 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 down, up. Up, 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 down, up. Now, it's really hard to start that one because you have to get your hand down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, 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 down, up. Let's do it really super slow. Now again, it's going to be easier when we put the first measure with it, believe it or not, but this is the second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and, oh, by the way, before we go, note that I'm actually faking strumming almost ridiculously just so I can get going in the right spot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Again, and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Now, let's speed it up a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Did you hear that? I actually hit the strings in the wrong spot. I just let my finger go down. By the way, what happens if you mess this up? Nothing. Nothing. There is no casualty anywhere as a result of you hitting the strings at the wrong time. So give yourself some freedom. Just stick with the beat. So if you do that and you brush the strings, it's okay. The ukulele judges will not show up at your house if you play the pattern wrong and confiscate your ukulele. Just keep that in mind. All right, so here let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Now we're almost at full tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up, 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 down, up. Now here's where you need to put those two together. You're going to go down, 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 up, 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 down, up. All right, if it's crazy for you, say it out loud. Down, 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 up, 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 down, up. All right, now I'm going to do the whole sequence on A minor. Are you ready? I'm going to go full speed. We'll slow it down once, but let's go full speed. 1 and 2 and ready and go. Down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, 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 up, up, down, up. Now, let's take it slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, down, up. Now a little faster. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, down, up. We're almost to the full tempo. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Now let's see if we can do it in the sequence. You've got, again, 2 of those for A minor, 1 of those for D minor, and a half of 1 for the E7. Let's do it. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, change, down, 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 up, A7, down, down, up, and you can freeze on that last one. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. Change again. And stop. All right. One last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. That would be the strumming pattern that would work all over the place in the song, with the exception of the single strums at the very, very end of the song. So the best part about this song is that it is not overly complicated in the number of chords. You can make it a little more tricky with the strumming patterns that you want to use. And finally, if you want to use another strumming pattern, go for it. If all you want to do is down strums at the beginning of each one of those, do it. As long as you're with the tempo and you're happy with how it sounds, that's what matters, because it's a play along. All right, that summarizes everything you need to know for the song. I wish you the very best. Thanks for watching the video, and I will be back soon with some more uke stuff for you.